Hey everybody, I don't feel like doing an intro today, so we're just gonna go right into it, okay? This is a pick a card reading. Normally we assign items, I'm not gonna be doing that today. So we will reveal 4 cards, and each card will be a pile for a reading. Okay. So we'll just reveal them now, because there's no items to associate with them, so the first reading is 6 of Cups. Second reading, we have 8 of Swords. For our third reading, we have the Hierophant. And for our final reading, our fourth reading, we will have Ace of Wands. I just realized the lights are dim on the right side. 1 second. You might notice I'm kind of a little haphazard today. I just think it's where I'm at, or maybe it's where the world's at. I don't know. Okay, so let's take a look at these cards real quick too, so you can take a little bit more time. Choose your card. This is 6 of Cups, a sense of nostalgia. Kind of looking back at old friendships. Brighter, rosier times. Be careful. Rose-tinted glasses. Okay. For reading number 2, we have 8 of Swords, a sense of being bound, a sense of being trapped, but actually being completely free to free oneself. You see the figure here, she is wrapped around with some form of rope and she's blindfolded, and there are swords surrounding her, but actually the swords are only behind her, and the bindings that she thinks is trapping her are loose and can easily be pulled apart, and the blindfold is easily removable, so all you have to do is pull apart those ropes, remove the blindfolds, and walk forward, and you are free. With the Hierophant we have for pile number 3, this is a slightly different depiction of the Hierophant. It's a sense of traditional sentiment. It originally was a representation of the Pope during the times where these cards were playing cards. It turned to the Hierophant to be a little bit more generic, and now it seems to be more of a mystical imagery in this set of cards. But essentially, it involves the traditional, seeking guidance from someone with authority, perhaps, or seeking some form of bestowal through authority, but also just kind of tapping into tradition and more established values. Okay. And then we have the Ace of Wands, a burst of creative energy and drive and motivation. So here, a new burst of creative drive and motivation. So here we have the 4 cards you can choose from to determine the pile you would like to watch. Now you are free to watch one or all of them because you have free will, and your choice to explore is always up to you. So let's just go on, and you can subscribe or comment or whatever. We know that. Okay, let's start with group number 1. Hey, group number 1, I hope you're doing well. How are you doing? We're just going to draw some cards and go right into it. I'm way more freewheeling today than I otherwise am normally. I normally have a whole scripted intro and all that stuff, but honestly, it's just not the time for it. We're just jumping right in. Alright, in the current middle position, we have Death. Oh yeah, starting new, end of an old, beginning of a new. Something certainly has ended here. In the past, we have Knight of Wands, so a sense of rushing in with confidence and charisma and enthusiasm in a creative way. But leading to death might mean that perhaps there's a little less of that energy now, but there might have been some of that in the recent past. Before that, we have the Page of Cups. You were a little bit more lighthearted in the past than you are perhaps at this moment. Okay, moving on in the future, we have Knight of Pentacles. So, strong energies. Here we have 2 knights. Knight of Pentacles is more of a defensive position. Knight of Pentacles is one of enthusiastically protecting one's assets, energy, money, any sort of thing that is most often it's depicting money and wealth. So defending it. And in the future we have Five of Pentacles. Hate to see it. I'm just kidding, guys. It's a sense of being kind of left out, perhaps being out in the cold, and it's in the future position. Just being honest here. All right. Okay, and look at this. Wow, very new beginning. All right, I shouldn't be so... I'm sorry, guys. I was being a little mopey here. This is a sense that you can find peace and warmth. It's a moment of realization that it's time to seek out that warmth. It's coming in the future, so it might be a situation where you might be preparing yourself to be in a situation where you need to kind of weather the storm. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be something very arduous or terrible, because it's in the top position. So what we're actually looking at is a more ethereal nature to this stuff here. This could be more of a spiritual journey aspect to it. You know, typically when I see pentacles and wands up here, I'm not quite as fixated on like material things, like, you know, actual like jobs or houses or anything like that. Up here is more of the mind, of thought. So if you have the Death card, I mean, but it encompasses all, so like everything's interacting. But here we're looking more towards like this might be a moment where being defensive actually leads to isolation. We have to see the rest of the cards though. And what's interesting is with Death and the Fool together, fascinatingly powerful moment to show like a very new beginning here. So we'll see what happens down here. To add to and clarify this Five of Pentacles, I didn't mean to be so, what would you say, negative. It's just not one of the best like happy cards, and you like to see those, something like this earlier generally. But this could mean, hey, you know what, and if we're starting a new journey here, like this is gonna have to show up eventually anyway, so it's gonna happen. There's gonna be moments where you feel a little left out, but remember that you are within your power to find the warmth and the light within you. Okay, so in the past, so there was a new idea that kind of sparked this new journey, okay, because we have in the past, the recent past, the Ace of Swords, which is a brand new idea. The swords generally involve thought and thinking and ideas, and a new beginning, or an ace, generally is the start. It's the first. It's number one. You know, you have two, but ace is number one. So it's the start of a new idea, which is leading to two major arcana cards of a new beginning. So pretty big for you guys. Okay. Two of Cups. Could be, I mean, look at this cup track here. Could be a new relationship that happened in the past, and like finding some joyful experiences with friendships and lovers in the past. This might be why you're reminiscing. You know, in the past there was these moments of celebration, moments of joy, of like light-hearted nature. The Page of Cups in the past is one of kind of laughter and joy, and can be a little like goofy, you know, someone who can bring out like the laughs in the crowd, comedian, stuff like that. Here we have, and it can just be friends who are just really funny. And here we have, and this is in the ethereal nature, so this is an energy, really, the aura of a situation being one of, you know, kind of lighthearted and boisterous, and then Two of Cups being, it could be romantic partnership or friendship, like the combining of complementary energies. It doesn't necessarily have to be two people. It could also be, you know, mixing two things together, like, you know, like bacon and eggs or milk and cookies, you know, that kind of energy here. Energies that kind of combine to make something better than the two sum of their parts, right? Greater than the sum of their parts energies. But then we move on to this new thing here going on, and we'll clarify that now. We have Four of Cups. Okay, so Four of Cups with Knight of Pentacles is interesting. Four of Cups, at least in this set, is a little bit more contemplative and a little less mopey, but it is a sense of pause. It's a 4, so it is a sense of pause and reflection, and this is more of the material plane that we're looking at here. So yeah, I mean, I would say that pausing and reflecting on how you defend your assets, your resources, your energy is something that might be happening here. So this is going to be an interesting one to clarify, because I went a little too hard on those 5 of Pentacles a while ago. But we have, okay, so 3 of Cups. Okay, so this might be feeling lonely, missing friendships, or it could be a situation where when you celebrate with people, you feel alone. You know that feeling where it's like you're surrounded by a crowd, but you feel alone. 3 of Pentacles, or 3 of Cups, I mean, is of friendships, is of celebration. It's kind of like, hey, let's go out and hang out together, friends. It is a celebration card, but this could also be one of those things where it's like you're sad during the holidays. Combination 5 of Pentacles with 3 of Cups. The holidays might be coming up for you, and if that's the case, then you might be worried more so that you're going to be upset or not have a good time or experience maybe perhaps going to see family during holidays or something like that, if we're looking at it a very fine-tuned idea. But more generally, thematically, it's just the sense of celebration, meanwhile feeling a little left out. So maybe you weren't invited to something too. That could be something that happens, but generally it's not. Like, this doesn't look like a very serious situation yet. This, however, is a very serious situation. You are changing dramatically right now. Whatever's happening in the future is something that you probably will be prepared for, because you're contemplating, you're setting up defenses. Interesting. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, well, that one wants to be here for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw it, but it slipped right out and fell right there, so we're going to leave it. Okay. So now we have clarifying death and the Fool, which is, the start, the jumping in, the leaping into a new journey. It's the 0 of the major arcana. It's the beginning and the ending. It's that moment where you've fully realized a new sense of self, and now the world's going to be completely different because you are a completely different person. That's the Fool. The actual first card of the set is the Magician, and that's card number 1. But card number 0 is the Fool, and this is a brand new beginning. I mean, I've never seen that right here before, so pretty cool. And the Sun, well, how about that? I mean, quite a bit of differences here. We have look at this contrast. You have the Death versus the Sun with the Fool in the middle. I mean, I have never seen a stronger middle column ever in my readings, and I've been reading for a couple months. I'm just kidding. I've done tarot I've been familiar with tarot for over a decade, so I have not been actively reading cards on YouTube until a month or so ago. But this is quite a column. Oh man. So before we reveal the other 4 cards, I will say that in this current position is one that intellectually feels like might be way more cold, way more despondent. You might be feeling way more despondent. However, your subconscious, the underlying elements of emotion, of psyche, of being, that which you might not normally see is truly resourceful as hell right now. Like, I mean, terrible expression, extremely resourceful right now. Like, what we're having here is the most abundant, the most joyful card in the entire tarot in your subconscious position. Meanwhile, you in your conscious position, or your material realm position, the world that we engage in, you're starting brand new. Like, this is brand new, and in your mind something has ended and a whole new thing has begun. So like a thought process, a way of being has passed and is now bringing in the new day. Fascinating first, like, middle column. I have not seen something like that before. Incredible, to be honest. Okay, so we have 5 of Cups. Interesting. Okay, so your subconscious kind of was dealing with a loss in the recent past. New ideas sprung up. A lot of new ideas, a lot of energy coming in. But the underlying feelings and emotions, and maybe the body feeling has been one of not really, um, in the recent past, really been on top of things. You might have been feeling somewhat like old habits have popped back in, or you're just feeling a sense of, at least in the past, was you were feeling a little bit more sense of sorrow. Yeah, there's a shock. Okay, so like a shock involving friendships or relationships in the past, one that really probably revealed a lot to you, revealed a lot to friends as well. It's kind of going to be a little confusing, I think, but one of those things is like, whatever was happening back then was a result of things being put on unsteady ground. Like there was something, like something was not fully foundationally secure, and because it toppled, it revealed that insecurity, and it's going to lead to quite a lot of change, especially in the subconscious. So yeah, shock, sense of sorrow, but then suddenly this bursting wellspring of warmth and glow and abundance you might not be even aware of right now because of where this is positioned. This is positioned in the subconscious, but hey, this is quite an amazing moment right now. Right now that's happening. That's wow. Okay. Wow, group number one, pile number one. Let's clarify into the future, the foretelling position. I will never claim to know the future. This is your life. This is an interpretation of what could come so that you can prepare yourself and be the most steadied and growth-oriented person you possibly can be for whatever comes your way. Okay. We have Page of Wands. Okay, so Page of Wands being kind of like choosing to go on a journey, like the energy of starting a new journey, starting off into, ooh, light just turned off. Okay, that's the one of my lights. I knew the battery was running low, but to be honest, I didn't feel like replacing it. Okay, so Page of Wands, interesting. Okay, new journey. Page of Wands is like you have become your apprentice. You have at least graduated into the sense of motivation and confidence and charisma in an endeavor involving the body, involving hustle culture, like making your own world of work and getting money through your own means rather than working for someone else. It can also just be a sense of like charisma and like ability to demonstrate yourself. So this is like having kind of graduated into the stage where you're ready to move forward on your own and like really like do it yourself. So like this does have travel nature to it. It also has a sense of, it is kind of similar to the Fool's card in the sense that the pages kind of are having graduated into being able to take on a specific element of life on their own. Okay, interesting. I mean, look at this. You're like starting something brand new right now. Okay, and we have the Page of Swords, no doubt. Okay, so this is similarly to the Page of Wands, having that charisma, that energy of hustle and of making your own way. You have the energy of being able to command an idea in a masterful way, not really in a masterful way, actually, as Page of Swords, but rather in a way that you're at least ready to bring it out into the world. So you're ready to showcase your new idea. You're ready to share your new sense of self. So in this subconscious area, the sword being in that spot, you're going to see these ideas might not be able to be articulated yet, but your actions are going to be based on these new ideas. And we have the Ace of Swords here. So this is quite a new thought process. Well, group number one. Intense reading. Honestly, this is one of those, something pretty wild set you off into a new direction right now, but this is one where you're kind of aligned fully in bringing light and joy to the world because it's within your subconscious. It's going to burst forth, and it's within the realm of just being a new person, like being an entirely new person after having experienced what you have in the past. That spark of a new idea that happened recently is giving you quite a momentum boost. So group number one, I'd love to hear what you are doing now, who you were once, and who you are now, and where you want to go with this new person that you are, this brand new you. I wish you the best in your journey, and I can't wait to see you soon. Take care. Hey, pile number two, Welcome to your reading. I hope you're doing well. How are you doing? We're just going to draw 5. Okay, there was a hidden one. Okay, yeah, that one feels loosey-goosey, and there we go. Okay. So what do we have going on? Middle position, we have the world. Well, the world is beneath your feet right now. Interestingly enough, pile number 1 had some pretty high energy cards right here as well. End of a full cycle, beginning of a new. You have everything it takes to move on in a higher vibrational journey. Okay. In the past, and you committed to something recently where there's no turning back. You made a decision and you're just going for it. There's no turning back here. Something was unseen in the more distant past. Something was just there's uncertainties. There's a path forward, but your conscious self is not aware of it. Interestingly enough, you're still committing to something, and it is bringing in quite a lot of change and completion in one's life. In the future positions, we have judgment. So true rebalancing of life, like a true coming to a moment where, the past kind of, you're reintegrating quite a lot into oneself. Okay. Followed by some sleepless nights here. Okay, yeah, you're very similar to group number 1, group number 2. Very similar. Okay, so we have this moment of thinking too much. Not falling asleep, right? Quite a lot happening here. This is interesting, though. In this position, it's not necessarily you're not able to fall asleep. However, it is a feeling of spiritual overdrive in some ways. Okay, let's see what we get here. Group number 1, okay, or 2, sorry. I keep thinking you guys might want to see number 1, because, man, this top line is interestingly similar. In completely different ways. It's funny, but the very interestingly going to like this really powerful moment right now of new beginnings, or at least ends of cycles, and beginning of new cycles. And then we have this kind of cold energy coming in up here specifically, not necessarily anywhere else. Okay, but we'll see. 7 of Cups, a lot of choices to be made right now for you. You might have been in a stable situation or relationship. An 8 of Wands, a lot of movement though. In the past, there was a lot of movement, which led to committing to something. This could be in some ways committing to a relationship. Interesting. Okay, and 8 of Cups, moving your own way, going on your own, kind of letting go of past situations and kind of following the path you need to take. Interestingly, we're seeing lunar energy here, a lot of lunar energy, but refining something interesting. 8 of Pentacles, we have the refinement, the mastery of a craft here. Okay, so interestingly enough, this is fascinating. Let's see, do we have any holistic storylines here? Well, something unknown, involving movement. So consciously unknown, there's a path forward. You committed to one during a time of stability, which led to a lot of choices and a beginning of a new thought process, a new way of kind of looking at the world. Something in my throat. Sorry guys, I just need to drink some water. Maybe you do too. Okay. So we're going to clarify these a little bit more. I would say on the surface, what this is probably looking like is you were traveling and you came back home. And now you're kind of like, what do I do with myself after that? Could be. Perhaps you were on vacation and you got back home and now you have all these choices, yet the world's at your feet, and yet can't seem to find the way, right? Well, you're going to be making your own way. You have committed to this, so, or at least you committed to going back home. What else we got? Well, that one just really wants to be here. Okay. And that one wants to come out too, so we'll put it here. Little bonus card. Okay. What do we got? Clarifying the world and 7 of Cups we have. Queen of Pentacles. You are nurturing your ability to protect your energy, to know where you can place your energy in the best way possible, and you're nurturing that concept. Right now, you're looking at all the options that you have in how to be a different person, because this is clearly a new kind of perspective, a world at your feet moment. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of movement, finding stability, but also committing to things. And now you're nurturing, like, you've seen all this and you're nurturing where it should go, what you should do about it. Yeah, you were definitely thinking about it. You're contemplating wisdom. You're contemplating wise ways of where your light, your light, your inner shining light is within you, and you were contemplating that. Whether you were with people or not, the Hermit in this position would have been more isolation. Here, it's more spiritually, you withdrew so that you could find yourself. Oh yeah, you were moving around in the past. Look at you. And you weren't consciously aware of why, but look at you. You have the Chariot in the bottom left. You have the 8 of Wands and the Moon on the top, but there was a lot of physical movement, and there was a lot of movement within the self of really aligning energies so that you could drive it forward. The two complementary energies that allowed you to move in the right direction. You aligned all of your internal motivations in the past to lead to a moment of, at this point, you're nurturing yourself. Whatever happened here is kind of interesting. This movement to this kind of committing to a more stationary moment, and now all these choices. This could just be perhaps you were moving around, maybe you were on a vacation, and you stopped for if you're a traveler, you might have stopped at a place and you stayed a little longer than you normally would. But this more looks like you went back in some ways. It's weird. Okay. And here we have the Magician. The first card of the tarot. Not the Fool, the Magician. Your subconscious, you're nurturing where you should put your energy, and that's going to allow you to place it in the way that can truly manifest, at least underlying your energies, manifest it in a way where you know where to put the energies to create the world you want. What's interesting is this diagonally upwards goes to meticulous refinement of a craft. So meticulously finding those little things to perfect your craft. Interestingly enough, it's going from a manifestation diagonal, which is pretty cool. Going your own way ties into this. But going your own way does lead to some form of intellectual restlessness. Okay. But subconscious is going to be joyful and jubilant. Fascinating. So that's that's interesting. So I wonder what that's going to lead to. But you're going to enjoy this process of meticulously refining something that you're good at to create wealth or energy or love. In many ways it could be work related, because you have the guy hammering the pentacle. So it could be a craft oriented perfection. It could also be one where you make money. It could also be something that's more like you can be working on a relationship in some ways. That could also be it. But what it is going to do is ignite the mind, and people are going to see you as very, very high energy, very, in some ways, frenetic, I would say. But inside, you're going to be joyful because you're going to be loving this process. It's going to be making something you want to see in the world, because that's something that has become very important for you. What you want to see in the world. So you might have found what you want to see and you didn't even realize it until now. Now, what's interesting is that you chose the Eight of Swords, so you feel somewhat stagnant right now. You might feel even trapped. Guess what? You're not. You might not want to hear this, but you aren't. You can get out of the situation. The thing is, you need to figure out how. There's lots of choices right now. In many ways, this might be analysis paralysis. Combining the seven of cups. Ooh, yeah, with the Eight of Swords could be something of analysis paralysis, having too many choices, don't know what to do. But there's going to be a balancing where there's going to be a coming, almost like a reckoning of some sort within your mind to lead you towards this kind of this almost feels like a tectonic shift coming from the subconscious rather than an intellectual conversation coming down to this perspective. So very, very primal. You've been working on yourself underlying everything that's happening up here. So that's kind of cool. We'll see what happens. Let's see what this card was. Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles. So yeah, you might be working on something that's going to bring a real sense of knowing where to put your energy. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles are coming out. Are there any other kings or queens on the board? Any other king or queens anywhere? I don't see any. So this could be something of a relationship. Fascinating. Or it could be also a balancing of energies where you can truly, take the skill sets that you have and bring it into a place where it is needed. It provides a lot of value, and it brings internal joy for you while you're doing it. So, hey, group number 2, pile number 2, I wish you the best in your journey. Quite a lot of movement in the past. I wonder what you were doing. Leave a comment, let us know. Besides that, I look forward to knowing also what you find joy in creating. What do you find joy in doing when you do it? Because that might be what leads you to finding just kind of a little bit more lighthearted energy in the future. Even if your mind starts racing a little bit, you're going to be emotionally in a very nice place if you can find that kind of craft that you enjoy perfecting. Okay, group number 2, pile number 2. Take care. Hey, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the Hierophant, and it's an interesting one. It's not a traditional Hierophant, which is kind of funny. It's this shooting star with mystical smoke into the cosmos, framed by a man and a woman, pillars of tradition. Okay, so we're going to draw 5 cards and we'll see where we're going with this. How are you doing today, group number 3? I hope you are doing spectacular, but if not, I hope you are doing okay. And that one wants to show too, so we will leave it. Oh, we have some bonus cards. Okay. Well, there's going to be quite a lot of messages in this reading, group number 3. That did not happen in the other readings, just to let you know. Okay, let's see. Currently, in the current position, middle, we have 7 of Swords, a sense of theft or loss. Interesting. Okay. In the past, 9 of Wands, you might be thinking, man, you were working so hard and you were almost there, and then something stole your thunder. Okay. Queen of Swords, you were making really good decisions in the past. Intellectual placement, this would be where the swords would shine. You have Queen of Swords, which is intuitively making the right choices, knowing how to make the right choices just from an emotional point of view. And that card just does not want to stay there. Okay. Then we move on to 9 of Wands, which is having put in a lot of effort over time. I mean, you're almost at 10, right? You went to 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever. You got to 9, and now you're like, oh man, when's it going to end? I've been putting in all this effort. When is it going to come through? When's that when's that thing gonna happen that I've been looking forward to? And then there's a sense that someone took something from you here, intellectually, like someone took an idea from you, or perhaps you're trying to find an idea from other people and it's not, it didn't really pan out for you. The interesting thing is here, I wouldn't normally be so negative about this card, but it's in the current position and it's in the top, so we're going to be a little bit more blunt about it. But in the future, you're going to have some cause for celebration intellectually. And it might lead to love. Interesting. Now, I like to see diagonals coming up this way, so I'll be interested to see what this is right here. Because that might be more of an indication of what this story tells us as to how to get to the lovers. We'll see. I don't know. It's just cards, guys. If you think I'm channeling anything, then I might be. If you don't think I'm channeling anything, then I'm not. Okay. Oh, and this one wants to come out as well, so we'll add it to this this library of cards you want to get. Interesting. This is a boatload of cards today for you, group number 3. I'm not channeling anything, guys. These are symbols. They're symbols of life, and we're trying to find sense through them. Okay? Don't hate on me. Knight of Wands. A sense of strength, creative drive, motivation, confidence. Interesting, but intellectually you felt like something has been stolen from you. In the past, we have the Hermit. You put in some alone time to contemplate something. What was it? 4 Swords. Heartbreak. You were healing from heartbreak. And I don't see this as necessarily a romantic breakup. It could actually be more friend-oriented. But with the lovers here, who knows? Maybe there was some heartbreak in the past. But finding that inner light, taking the lessons from that past moment of needing to really not relax, but to rest, because the 4 Swords is one of rest, of pause, of having, intellectually felt that pain, that heartbreak. Now is time to reflect, relax, but actually not even reflect, just to let go for a moment and be at peace. But here we have reflection. This is finding the inner light in yourself. This is finding the wisdom from your lived experiences, but also finding that glowing warmth of strength and resolve from knowing that you are a spiritual being and you are one of light and that it's within you. Leading to confidence, drive, motivation to move forward, to really put in effort. You might have found a spurt of energy right now. Perhaps thinking back, you feel like you might have been slighted a little bit. I would caution against using resentment as a motivational fuel. Sorry, guys, I gotta drink water. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Don't do that. Okay, and in the coming days, interestingly, you have cause for celebration intellectually. However, in the physical plane, in our 5 senses world, you have inability to sleep. You probably have trouble sleeping. Wow, okay, but hey, look at this. You have the Fool and the Lovers. Well, you'll love to see that. I mean, in the future, that's amazing. Beautiful. Okay. Sorry if today's been a little bit more chaotic in how I'm approaching these cards. It's just how the energy is right now. So, interesting. Here's what I'll say. And this is coming from personal experience. If you feel like it seems like everyone's just competing with each other right now, and that there is no winning around other people, you're not alone. It does feel like there's a lot of giving and taking of energy that shouldn't be happening. And I'll say this. Um, part of me wants to say fight like hell, and the other part of me wants to say we have to collectively move back from this competitive nature. I'll just put that out there. We have to stop thinking that the only way that we can find love is to beat out someone else. Okay? That's just blunt statements here. Both sides of that are true. You can't just let your guard down, but at the same time, you gotta try to find peace and not always be on the lookout for something happening. Okay? Yeah, if you can find a cause for celebration where you can be with others, that's great. I do think you should focus on trying to get some good sleep, though. For sure. There's a very new beginning coming in the future for you, and it involves romance or love in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be romance, it could be love of family, friends, self, loving the world, maybe even in some ways when you don't right now. Could be coming with a new sense of self. Okay. Wheel of Fortune. Man, in the subconscious realm, it's really interesting to see the Wheel of Fortune in this position. Something's really turning here, allowing chance in for a little bit to allowing chance in yourself, giving something a chance within yourself. Nurturing your own drive. You were nurturing your own drive. Or actually, you started to nurture your own drive. Look at that queen going into the night right now. Your subconscious was building into this sense of drive and motivation. And 5 of Pentacles. A sense of being left out in the cold. You probably were emotionally feeling lonely in the recent past. Perhaps there was a romantic breakup. There's a definite romantic line here for some of you. Okay, because you have you could easily interpret this as finding love, celebrating something, not being able to sleep. It could be talking until the sun rises with someone you've just met. And we have the High Priestess here, trusting your intuition. There's something unseen here, but your intuition knows what it is. Or perhaps your intuition is who doesn't know. Perhaps it's right in your face, but no, you know what it is. It's just going to reveal itself very soon. And the final card here is the Knight of Pentacles. So, being a little guarded with your emotions, being a little guarded with your love, maybe, but being ready to take the leap. I mean, it's one of those things where you might be feeling guarded about it, but you're going to take the leap anyway, because that's what the Fool does, right? The Fool goes right in. The Fool knows the entirety of what could happen, but doesn't know which of those things are going to happen, so the Fool chooses to take the risk and live life. Beautiful card, the Fool. So a few other cards to see. You might be seeing friends. You might be meeting someone with very strong emotional intelligence in some ways, command of their emotions. Could potentially right now be in a place of stability or conflict. These are just kind of interesting things, but it could just be something where you're just very busy and you have a lot to take care of, a lot of emails a lot of messages to respond to, maybe not emails, but like text messages, or like there might be group chats you haven't responded to in a while. Somebody who's kind of like the center of the party here. Interesting. This is kind of like almost opposites too. To be honest, I don't see, they're cups, but yeah, okay, cool. Interesting story here, guys. I look forward to hearing what your thoughts are on this. And really, what's this new love in the future. It could be love of the world, like an intellectual love, really. And a deliberate choice to kind of set aside your armor for a little bit to move forward. Maybe it's not necessarily that you shouldn't be wary of situations. Obviously, like if you feel an intuitive thing telling you that this is like red flag or whatever, yeah, no, we're not talking about that. But if you feel motivation to find love, jump in. Okay. Group number 3. Have a great rest of your day, evening, night. I wish you the best on your journey. I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Hey, group number 4, pile number 4, welcome to your reading. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing amazing. And if not amazing, I said this in the last reading, if not amazing, I hope you're okay. Interesting. Okay. You chose Ace of Wands, a bursting of new creative energy. In the current position you have, well, you're working on something intellectually. 8 of Pentacles. You're working on perfecting an idea, maybe. Okay. You have the world in the past, so something's at your feet from a thought process. And 9 of Wands. Was that from last time too? Was it the same progression? I don't remember. All right, well, okay. Yeah, we definitely shuffled because we haven't had this one yet. We have 10 of Swords. Okay. Interesting. Ooh. Leading to 5 of Cups. So, like an intellectual ending. You're working really hard on an idea. It ends, and you're feeling a little sad about it, but there is a silver lining. You've been putting in a lot of effort. You really have command of something. Let's keep going. Of an idea. Okay, there we go. I'm running a little loose today. If you haven't seen, guys, I just really haven't felt like sticking to the script. I feel like just kind of like letting chaos take a little bit of a spotlight here and just running with it. Okay, we got a few here. Where do they go? Put one here, leave these 2 here. Okay. Okay. Clarifying the 8 of Pentacles, we have the Will. This is a special oracle card, so awesome. We will talk about that in a second. It comes with this deck, and it's a sense of being the source of creation in some ways, like finding the source, aligning with the source of creation, I guess I should say, being one with the source of creation. Okay, and Justice. Ace of Cups. King of Cups. And again with this 9 of Swords card keeps popping up. Okay. Sleepless nights maybe might be coming. Could be good though, not necessarily for bad reason, but right now we're looking at some challenges, but that's okay. All right, so right now you might just be feeling like you have a burst of creativity, a burst of just raw energy to just make. And this could be from having refined a thought or an idea or a worldview, I would say. We have it bringing in a new feeling of emotional abundance, just emotions in general, honestly. This is just emotions, new forms of emotions here. Coming from having given up on an idea after having worked on it for quite a while. But it's bringing in new emotions. and which could lead you to, really kind of have a overactive mind in some ways. All right, now there was some balancing in the past that led you to this point where you had to kind of put that hammer to the nail and figure out what it was that you needed to perfect. In the future position, this is one that where the ideas have been proven wrong. I should say the idea has been proven wrong. So now the idea is, well, there's gonna be some new emotions from this. If the path you were taking leads to a dead end, there's a few things you can do. You can try a different path, or you can kind of walk back a little bit and see what potentially you could have done differently. But we will see. All right, I want to see what this card is. Tower. Okay, that was on the bottom. Okay. Eight of Pentacles. The Well, clarifying. Temperance, patience, transmutation. Things are gonna change. Put the water where it should be. Hanged Man. Feeling a sense of waiting. And Seven of Swords. Wands. Sorry, wands. Okay. Okay, so a feeling of conflict leading to it's conflict with the self in that position, leading to balance, actually, leading to hard work. Interesting. Which creates a lot. You're going to be creating a lot. Intellectually, you're putting in a lot of work in order to create something. Be patient with that craft. You'll find that perfect moment. It's going to involve you letting go of some part of the idea. And it could be because past habits. Devil card in the bottom position. I would say something is blocking you, because the devil is that block in your path towards the best self you can be. But we'll get to the Knight of Wands. So, interesting. In reality, this could be like internal, like something that you want is kind of blocking your is keeping you up. Like you're focused on like a very specific thing you want, that just doesn't let you stop thinking about it. But it leads to a sense of moving forward. So we do have like this new drive that like is going to keep you, it's keeping you up. This new drive, letting go and getting past that barrier is going to be very much possible and within your ability. You have like this new wellspring of emotion. There's some conflict in the past, definitely. Sense that justice was like put in place in some ways, not necessarily how you would like it, but not necessarily in the worst way either. All right, let's see what this card is. Oh yeah, we have a couple. Wait, did these pop out or did I just put them there? I forget. Oh yeah, these were extra ones, right? Lovers and High Priestess. Maybe you want to see the last reading as well. I say that because those were obviously not so shuffled cards from the last reading. Interesting. Actually, maybe they were a little shuffled. They weren't necessarily exactly where they weren't necessarily exactly connected together. I want to draw a couple more cards here. Okay. Movement. A lot of movement, a lot of creation. There might be an underlying idea. Okay, here we go. An underlying concept of the world that you're gonna get rid of. That's gonna end. You're no longer gonna think about it the same way, because this new emotion is going to allow you to let go of something that is blocking you from moving forward in your best way. You're going to put in the work, but it's going to help you move forward emotionally and internally. And it's going to involve balancing some emotions, some concepts, a more yin and yang kind of energy here. Okay, well, short reading today. Sorry guys, but today was just one of those days. But I do see this as something that, I deserve to give this a little bit more time. Let's take a moment. I was going to just end there, but I don't think that we should end there. Patience with creating the best thing you possibly can right now is the message in the middle. Finding that new emotion by intellectually letting go of something that might be ingrained in an old thought process that has become habitual. You're going to let go of. It's going to end, and it's going to lead to a fresh start emotionally. We have a little bit of a sleepless night situation here, but that could be many different things. It could be you're just kind of overthinking things in some situation. Could be a sense of loss. Letting go of an idea or letting go of a concept or a thing can lead to part of you kind of going, well, what next with this other part of my thought process, right? My worldview had this involved with this idea. Does that still apply? That could be part of what's going on here. It could also be more in the material world that, just not being able to sleep because you're focused on what you had lost. And it might not necessarily be something involving this. It could be involving like the subconscious, the devil in the subconscious place. It could be the, just having put in so much work and leading to something that was more just like meh. And just, you might put in a lot of work and it just kind of like what was happened, but like it wasn't as much as you were hoping for. You were thinking it was going to bring you the world, but you got balance, It's like, what? You're kind of just like, seriously? But right now, you're just going to keep creating, keep going, and you're going to move forward, and it's going to be good. We'll draw from another deck for you guys. I haven't done this in the other 2 or 3 readings, because we're doing 4. I haven't done this in the other 3, but we'll draw a couple cards. Okay. The Emperor. Okay, well, this is a lot of energy right now that's pretty powerful. A sense of like real command of oneself, of one's domain. The Knight of Swords. Ooh, my computer just went off there. Sorry, guys. Multiple times. I thought I had it on silent. Apologies. Okay. Knight of Swords. So, kind of rushing in with a new idea, which makes sense here. Rushing forward, make sure to no warning here. Just rushing forward with a new thought, a new concept, a new emotion. Being in command of one's ideas and rushing in with a command of them can be a little brash, but that's okay. And Queen of Cups. So a nurturing sense of nurturing one's emotional stability, nurturing one's emotions in general, your source of emotions, being consciously like aware of them, but intuitively managing them is going to be helpful here. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Group number 4, I wish you the best on your journey. Please leave a comment and let me know how I'm doing here. And if you'd like, you can also subscribe. It helps this channel so much and it allows me to see you again in the future. So, can't wait. Take care.